Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kara and I am an author, a nurse, and a health coach. My goal is to help you heal your gut and lose weight in a sustainable way. This video is going to be about the gut-brain connection and what you need to know if you're struggling with anxiety, depression, an eating disorder, or really any mental health condition that has been diagnosed, or maybe you're just feeling those things generally all the time. This is something that you need to know about because something that can actually hide underneath the surface that a lot of doctors, psychiatrists, and health professionals are not talking about. So you don't want to miss out on this video. At the end of it, I'm going to give you 4 different tips to help you get started and make some changes in your life that will actually help. First off, I just want to go and say that if you're feeling this way, anxious, depressed, or you're experiencing like low energy or something, I want you to know that it's not all in your head. A lot of times we can sit back and we can just think like life is happening to us, this is the way it is, but a lot of times we are missing something, and a lot of times that actually comes from something being out of balance in our health. And the gut microbiome is one of those things that can be a common culprit to a lot of mysterious health things that don't have a solution that you've come to yet. So experiencing mental health stuff, anxiety, depression, and the like, and we're taking medications for it. I was certainly one of those people. For about 11 years, I had an eating disorder that I just could not beat. I went through therapy, I went through all these different things, changing my lifestyle, and I tried biohacking, I tried therapy, I tried all these different strategies to try to heal and just trying to like help my relationship with food to be better. But unfortunately, I didn't really find any success until I prayed and God led me to gut healing and full nutrition to support healing of my gut and healing of my body. And I had some other things in the mix at the same time, which are all over my channel. If you're curious and are dealing with something similar, definitely go check those out. I talk a lot about my story on this channel. But the reality is our body is just this huge complex system that over 1 billion little microscopic chemical reactions are going on at any given second. So when you kind of think about that, it like blows your mind. Like we can't really wrap our heads around something that complex. And I think that's kind of where we get confused regarding like, how could it really be like the gut microbiome that's like causing all of this issues? But let me tell you, there's a lot of research to back this up. Huge determinant in our mood, our energy level, and just our general state of mind actually is determined by the way that our gut microbiome is either healthy or in a state of dysbiosis, meaning that we have more bacteria that are unhelpful and maybe more inclined to cause issues in our health or issues in our mood, energy level, versus a healthy population, which would support our health and help us to feel our best. These small gut bacteria, which there's trillions of inside of our body, they actually interact with our system. And one of the ways that it does that is it communicates to our brain through the vagus nerve. And there's this thing called the enteric nervous system that is intertwined really nicely into our digestive system. So these bacteria actually communicate all the way up to our brain through this channel. It's kind of like this telephone wire that's always sending signals back and forth. In the medical and scientific community, that's called bidirectional communication. And when you have an unhealthy gut and it's communicating signals up to our brain, if we're having an unhealthy population of bacteria and things are not where they should be, if things are not healthy, if we don't have enough of the right bacteria and we have more of the ones that are kind of causing and more predisposing us to mental health conditions and not enough to offset, like Lactobacillus rhamnosus is one of the species that they researched in mice. And I guess this bacteria supported these mice in feeling like less anxious, less depressed. And I'm gonna actually link that in the description of this video so you can go check that out for yourself. I'm gonna link a few studies in the bottom, so make sure to check those out if you're curious about reading more about this topic. In addition to not having the right population of bacteria, if we have inflammation inside our gut lining from maybe leaky gut or something going on chronically, that can also send signals up to our brain that will cause us to be more anxious and just depressed and low energy on a day-to-day basis. So what do most of us do when we start feeling this way for a long period of time? A lot of us actually go to the doctor and we try to figure out like, what is the solution to this? Is there something causing this? Like, is it my thyroid? Is it something else? Like, do I have something wrong inside of my body? And unfortunately, we're not at the place in Western medicine right now where they are recognizing that the gut microbiome plays a huge role in this area of our health. So they're probably going to run some labs on you. They may even give you some medication based on how you're feeling. They may refer you to a mental health professional. Those things are fine. Those things are good. We should seek the help that we need and go through those channels as well. But what I'm telling you is that there's more to the picture. And if you just stop at taking meds and doing therapy, you may be missing like the root cause of how you're feeling. And honestly, those things are just a band-aid. Those things are helpful, but they don't actually help you get to the bottom of what the root of the issue is, if it is indeed dysbiosis. And so I can get a little bit more into how you would find out if it is dysbiosis and what you can do next. Something that you can do, and it's not necessary, but you can do if you're somebody who likes testing, you can get a gut microbiome test to find out what your spread is in your population. And they'll give you a breakdown and a profile of what things are looking like inside and give you kind of like action steps forward. So that's kind of personalized. That's very nice for like data. If you're a data-driven person, I certainly am. But I want to let you know that you do not need to take this test to make progress with your gut health, because you don't want to stop at like just improving anxiety and depression like with your gut health. Gut health is so intertwined with every single area of our health that if you take it upon yourself to improve this part of your life, you are going to set yourself up for good health and like a good foundation in every single area of your system. So I want to encourage you that you don't need to like drop a ton of money on a test unless you're kind of like, I feel like I need to. Like I feel like some people are just more data driven and they like to see things on paper. They like to understand like the breakdown of the population inside. For me, like I am a data-driven person being a nurse. I studied, human biology. I'm very much driven by the statistics and the data and just the facts. I think that's really helpful. I think that's really good, except I'm also the type of person who's very experimental. I like to try things that it sounds like it's worked really well for others, and a lot of others actually. And so when you hear about gut health and how it's improved so many people's lives, there's never going to be a shortage of testimonials about what happened after people started looking after their gut properly. And so to me, the subjective data and that feedback, it makes me feel like it could work for me as well. That is the part of me that just knows you can start here too. So I'm going to go over 4 different areas that you can start doing in your everyday life that will help you address gut dysbiosis and help strengthen and heal your gut-brain connection. First one is how you're taking in nutrients. So we always hear like, let's eat whole food, let's eat nutrient-rich, fiber-rich. This goes without saying in gut health. So we're going to talk about it though, because sometimes we can hear something and it can just like go in one ear and out the other. And the reason for it, sometimes we just don't understand how that could mean something to us in our situation. Like we've tried it and it's kind of been like, yeah, that's nice and everything. But when you can get a why behind why you're doing something, then it actually starts to mean something. And then you like latch onto it as something that you do in your day-to-day. So eating a lot of foods that have fiber, it is so healthy for every single area of your life. Blood sugar balance, if you're trying to lose weight, fiber. If you're trying to regulate your cholesterol, all of us should be focused on fiber as a must-have in our diet. So things like legumes, beans, peas, you're going to want to increase your diversity in the type of plant foods that you're eating. So of course, this is in a generalized statement. Not everybody should be doing every single thing. That's a general recommendation, but generally speaking, just for the general statement of it, nuts, seeds, chia seeds, vegetables, fruits, and like sprouted grains, things like that. If you can tolerate foods, the more diversity you can bring into your diet, the better you are going to be feeding the gut microbes that live in there, especially if you're taking like a probiotic and trying to reestablish a healthy flora and increase the diversity in your bacterial population. What this actually does at like the microscopic level is it helps feed those bugs with the food that they need to help produce short chain fatty acids, which then help repair the gut lining, and then you can seal up any leakiness and help reduce stress at that gut level. And then that's actually going to help support your gut-brain connection as well, because then it's going to be having a healthier like range of communication. The signals that are going to be sending back and forth are going to be more in alignment for healing the body and balancing it and feeding it to homeostasis. Number 2 is going to be taking a probiotic. So probiotic foods are really helpful. I'm going to differentiate between why you should be taking a supplement probiotic that you would buy like in a bottle or something like that versus probiotic foods like kimchi, sauerkraut. Taking a probiotic supplement can be really, really, really helpful when you are trying to target a specific issue and you're trying to heal something and you just really need to hit that thing hard. So probiotic supplements are billions of colonies of helpful bacteria that can actually help reestablish some diversity and help nourish your body at that gut level and provide more microbes into the mix to be able to give you more of a health benefit. So why we want to do that is because gut microbes actually support the health of the gut lining, which from there it kind of branches out into every single area of our health. So in this video concerning brain, it'll be very helpful to support that communication between the gut and the brain, because you're going to be sending a lot of positive signals that will help improve your mood and your stress and depression, anxiety. And I really felt when I was dealing with my eating disorder that I had a lot of repairs to do. I had a lot of leaky gut. I had a lot of just issues from constantly eating a lot of foods that were not healthy for me. Like I had a lot of imbalances to address. And so having gut dysbiosis was one of those things that I could never have been without. And that is my true belief based on how my mood, my energy level, and just my outlook on life, it literally felt like a blindfold had been taken off of me and I was now seeing the world for what it was. And I felt like I had been given a second chance at life. It was just one of the best, happiest times of my life. I didn't have to be on antidepressants anymore. I started to believe that like I was finally getting to the root of the issue. And that was just such a good feeling. It made me fall in love with taking care of myself. And I just can't stop talking about it. And that's really why I went into this and started helping others do the same, because I feel that the more people that I meet and the more people that I talk to, when they start telling me what they're going through, I keep thinking like, wow, like you need to do what I did. Like you need to go through and you really need to heal your gut. You need to incorporate these things seriously and take it into consideration that this is actually a real thing. I like to tell my clients, my family, my friends, anybody who will listen, that when you are trying to address a specific issue in your health and you want to take care of your gut and you're trying to just nail it, you want to just heal, you want it to get better, take a probiotic supplement. And then there are times where maybe, you feel your best, you feel really good. You can come off of that probiotic for a while and maybe just start incorporating like a daily routine where you're eating probiotic foods every day, spoonful of sauerkraut here. Number 3 is consider the type of medications that you're on. So I want to go ahead and say, if you are listening to this, make sure that you don't just stop your medications. Any sort of changes with your meds, make sure you take it into your doctor and come up with a plan to come off of them if you are somebody who wants to do that after hearing what I'm about to say. Medications have the potential to cause dysbiosis in our gut lining. So what that means is they may change the environment in there and reduce the amount of good bacteria and allow unhelpful bacteria to overpopulate. And then you start having these downstream health problems that now, okay, where did those come from? One of those sources is actually our medications. Birth control, proton pump inhibitors, a lot of meds, even metformin for diabetes, those have all been shown to have an impact on our gut microbiome, and sometimes that is not good. One of the most important ones that seems to have a lot of research coming up about it is proton pump inhibitors, things like Protonix, omeprazole. Those ones actually reduce the stomach acid, the hydrochloric acid that our gut lining produces to help digest our food. So unfortunately, long-term use of those drugs can actually reduce your body's ability to absorb nutrients. There are certain sources that are saying that there are strains of bacteria that are reducing after long-term use of these medications. So the more that you focus on getting to the root of something and healing from the root, the less meds you're going to need. That's just the foundation of it. Or easier said than done, but sacrifice stress. These stress chemicals that our body puts out when we're under a lot of stress for a prolonged period of time and even shorter periods of time can influence the gut bugs to release certain toxins and chemicals that then communicate with our brain. And sometimes that results in telling us to eat more. And that even goes without the whole leptin and ghrelin and our blood sugar fluctuating, the insulin. All of these factors play into how our appetite is at any given time. So a lot of times, have you ever noticed that you're super stressed out and your appetite changes? Either you want to eat more or you lose your appetite. So this is all because of the way that our body is so intricate, sending signals and even down to our gut microbiome. So do what you have to do. Think about dropping extra commitments. Sometimes less is more. And when you're trying to heal and you're trying to get this understanding of how to support your health, stress is something you cannot neglect. This is just like sleep is something that you need to have in place foundationally, stress is something that you cannot neglect. Just remember, like, when you are going about your day-to-day, how many things you're up to, like, what is it on your plate that is stressing you out the most? You know, we can't always get away from every single person in our life, but some relationships, honestly, they're not necessary for us to be continuing. They're not necessary for us to be sustaining. And so kind of take note of these areas of your life that may be able to change, and you can support your stress levels that way. Something I really like to do that is really regulating to our central nervous system is diaphragmatic breathing. Sometimes I'll do some diaphragmatic breathing to just help support a level of calm that can help just bring this reduction in stress after a particularly stressful time. As I wrap up this video, it's really going to come down to how excited and motivated you can get about what it is that you're doing. So if you are resonating with some of the things that I've said in this video, the themes that we've brought up, just the conversation here, honestly, try to really get in there and see how you can make it mean something to you. I think we can just kind of hear a video and we can hear like about, oh, so something is bad for you, don't do this, don't do that. But if it doesn't mean something to you and the goals that you're trying to reach and what really matters to you, it's not really going to happen. And that is why it's really important to understand why you want what you want. Like, why do you want to be healthy? Why do you want to experience a better mental health life? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to have anything? And being able to get real with yourself and kind of answer questions about it during like a journal session or in therapy or praying, that is really where you're going to discover why something matters to you. And then you can start making a plan from there. Final words as we close out this video. I think that sometimes when we are not satisfied with what's going on in our lives and we're kind of just sitting there like wondering, like, is this all there is? Like, I certainly was like that for so long. When I was struggling with bulimia, I was just thinking like, is this all there is? Am I always going to be struggling with this? And it came to the point where I didn't want that to be my reality, but I literally didn't know what to do. And so that's when I sat down and I prayed and I was like, you know what, Holy Spirit, I have no idea. Like, can you help me? Because I really have been trying and I can't do it. And like, literally there's nothing else that I can think of to try. And that's when I felt like I got this download from heaven where I was just directed towards gut healing. I was directed towards eating low carb for a while. And it was so interesting how God came through for me. Like, all the things, like I could have said that prayer years before. And that's what really shook me, was when I asked, like, he delivered. Like, that's what he wants. And so if you're just sitting there like, yeah, like, is this all there is? Like, God may be trying to stir up something in you and give you like a revelation for your family and the people around you that this is not all there is. Like, he wants to do something in your life. And if you want to learn more about that and hear more about health and gut health from a perspective of Christianity, I'm a Christian and I pray about my health and I pray about my clients' health. Subscribe to the channel. I'd love to help support you in your journey, and I'd love for you to hit the like button and let me know something that really stood out to you here and what you're going to work on. Which one are you going to zone in on out of the 4 options? And I cannot wait to see you in the next video. If you'd like more support and how-tos and step-by-step, I do have some books on Amazon in this area specifically. Go ahead and check those out in the description box, and we'll see you soon. Bye.